All right, so virtual meeting statement. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations www.hubbardstonma.us. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event we are unable to do so despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible.
Okay. The agenda. Do we want to reorder the agenda and move invited guests to the top of the list?
Totally up to you. I think we just have guests from Robertson.
All right, so we can go to that item. It's actually at the top, right? COVID-19
it is, yeah, right
update and reopening.
So they emailed me a copy of their reopening plan for indoors, and I did forward a copy to all of you about maybe 20 minutes ago. So I don't know if anyone's had a chance to take a peek at it, but
I can do that
now. There wasn't anything attached.
Did you scroll all the way to the bottom? I know mine was showing all the way at the bottom.
Yep. I didn't get it. The attachment, that is.
Yeah, there is no attachment. Sorry.
Weird. All right. Let me pull it open and then I can share my screen.
No, it would be easier if we just opened up the attachment and shared it with all of you.
Sure, we can do that. See if I can make you a co-host for that.
All right, thanks.
All right, it's all yours.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Les Holgersson, Vice President of the Robertson Rod and Gun Club. We've modified our plan from when we initially talked to you to adhere to the governor's orders. So what we're looking to do is move inside the club. It's getting cold out. And we'd like to get the blessing of the Board of Health on this. And we have our proposal in front of you. The bar will not be open. We have table seating. People will enter the club with a mask. They'll go to a table and the server will come out to them and will be offering food. And if they choose to purchase a beverage, that's when that would take place. We have two areas set up upstairs in the hall. Obviously accommodates a lot more people. The downstairs would accommodate approximately 14 people, and that would keep people 6 feet apart, seated at tables. We've attached pictures of upstairs and downstairs. We also place signs on the door. We have hand washing stations. We have sanitizer. We have a sign-in logbook, so we know every person that comes in the building and when they leave. In case we have a problem, we can contact people, and that's where we're at.
Questions from the board?
We also have two kitchens, one upstairs, one downstairs.
Will you be serving food?
Yes. Under the rules by the governor, you have to serve food before you can serve alcohol.
That's what I thought.
So if they're not ordering food, they don't get served.
And with that, can we also find time to schedule your kitchen inspection as you reopen? We haven't been reaching out unless people are actively open to then schedule, because a lot of people are kind of on hiatus.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, can we schedule your kitchen inspection as well?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's an open item that we as the board haven't been kind of pursuing people unless you're actively open serving.
When do we want to do that?
I'm open all afternoon this Friday if you're around.
You around, John?
Yep.
Friday works.
I will call you about 1 o'clock. I'll stop by.
Just need a time.
1 o'clock?
1 o'clock. Okay, done deal.
Perfect. That was easy. And I know you have to serve food with drinks, masks, obviously. Do you have I thought I saw it like a cleaning regimen in terms of bathroom cleaning and sanitizing open public spaces?
Right. We're only going to allow so many people in the bathroom at a time, obviously. We have sanitizer, and people that are working that day at the club, they would sanitize everything once they leave a table, clean it before new people come and sit at the table.
Okay.
Like I said, we created a logbook. So say somebody does come down with COVID and they say they got it here, we'll be able to contact everybody that was here that day. It's actually a little bit more.
I think the logbook's the real idea.
You say that again?
I think the logbook is a real beneficial thing. I'm glad
I
you're
heard you say something about the logbook. You're kind of broken up.
Yeah, you might want to stop sharing video, Kathy, because you're breaking up quite a bit. It might help.
Okay. I was saying that the logbook is very beneficial.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions, Colleen or Kathy?
Some places are also wiping down the chairs after a customer leaves.
We wipe down everything. They're metal chairs, so it's easy to clean.
That would be good too.
Okay, can take care of that.
I'm all set.
All right.
Otherwise, it looks great.
Thank you very much.
And Mallory, are you still? Oh, go ahead, Kathy. You're breaking up, Kath. Judy has joined. Judy, do you have any questions for the Rod and Gun Club about their reopening plan?
I didn't get a chance to see it, but it sounds, what little I did hear, it sounded like
The
they,
attachment, that is.
yeah, they've done some good work. I know I wrote the reopening plan for our church to turn it into the Board of Health over in Gardner. And it's a lot of work.
It is. We're gonna move inside. It's getting too cold to be outside, and our sales are through the bottom. We're taking a hit.
And
So should I make a motion that we accept their plan?
Should I make a motion that we accept the Robertson Rod and Gun Club reopening plan? That is, if you heard me over the train.
we heard you. So Judy has a motion to accept the plan as written, and Kathy, or anybody else, I'll second that.
I'll second it.
Colleen. All right. And then in votes, we have to go from the top and call each person's name in order so that we can record it. So starting from the top, Kathy.
Yes, were you able to hear that?
I heard you.
Okay.
Judy,
Yep.
I think
Colleen,
the logbook,
Yes.
and Kate is a yes. So the motion is passed. And if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will reach out to you on Friday afternoon and come do your kitchen inspection, and we can tackle anything then as well.
I think the logbook is a really benefit.
Thank you. We keep losing you here. You're in and out. The president will be here Friday at 1 o'clock, John Federico, and he'll show you around.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'm glad you're going to do that.
So I stopped sharing my video because I am cutting
Okay.
out.
I will.
Kathy, I don't know if you're speaking, but we cannot hear you.
No, I wasn't. It says I'm talking, but I'm not.
All right. So going back to the agenda, give me 1 second. I did bounce back and forth.
I feel lonely. I'm the only one up here.
I know, I'm sorry. You don't have to share your camera if you don't want to. It's just, it kills my bandwidth. So the next thing is to review minutes from the last meeting. The last minutes I saw attached weren't from 6/9, they were from 8/25. Is that correct? Mallory?
Yep.
The 8/25 meeting minutes are the ones we're reviewing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to review them?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I had a chance to read through them. All right. All right. So I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as written.
I second it.
All right. So we'll take a vote. Kathy?
Yeah. I think the logbook is a risk.
What? Kathy?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. All right. Judy?
I don't think I was at that one, wasn't I?
You
I
were,
was-
no.
You were
Yeah.
not. Okay.
I was in Peterson.
It's fine. Colleen?
Yes.
Really beneficial thing. I'm glad you're going to
Kate
do that.
is a yes. Kathy, you're not on mute, so we're hearing side conversations. So the meeting minutes are accepted as written per the motion. And we can move to the next item on the agenda, which is the town fair. Mallory, what's up with the town fair?
I don't know if you have the same agenda that I have. I updated one. So the next thing on my agenda is the Lions Club Halloween event.
Yeah, probably not, because I had multiple agendas open and couldn't tell which one. There we go.
No worries. So, yeah.
All right, Lions Halloween event. I'm on the right agenda now. Sorry.
There we go. I'm like, what minutes is she looking at? So Patty Burke from the Lions Club came forward. I guess every Halloween they put on a like a stage show hayride, and they were looking for our blessing to do it again this year, but instead of doing the hayride, it would be a drive-through in your own personal vehicle with limited contact for buying snacks and drinks at the end. So Patty forwarded the plan over to us, and I emailed a copy over to you guys. I invited her to the meeting, but she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to make it or not. So.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
I read this And I couldn't believe the amount of work they went through to think this all out.
I'm seeing a lot of events
I'll tell
statewide.
you, if this works, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I really, they put a lot of thought in this. I couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
I think it follows the regulations as written.
Yeah, it's pretty much to the T. A lot of people are doing things like this. I know the zoos are doing it, and some other haunted houses.
Yep.
In the car, but
Cool. Yeah, I think it looks good. Do we need a specific motion on this, or is this just communication back to them that we
yeah,
reviewed it?
I think communication that we reviewed it and we didn't have any concerns.
Yeah, I don't have any. Does anybody else?
Looks good to me.
Me too.
And let me see if I can get back to my agenda. I am sharing my screen so that I can, have some hope of maybe actually toggling back and forth effectively. All right. So the next item is the nursing report, MPHN.
So we
nothing.
actually, Ryan sent me an email this morning about Halloween and trick or treat.
Okay.
He just wanted us to kind of have a discussion. He said he would be good if we got our final decision out at the beginning of October, but as you can imagine, he just has a lot of people coming forward asking questions about what's going to happen. Chief of Police already said no way to the event they usually have in the center, and I pretty much told him that CDC has put their guidelines out, but as of the conversation he and I had, DPH hadn't. And so we just had to have some patience. And
Yes, we able to do that? Okay.
so we got guidance from DPH. So I was just kind of giving it to you guys early so we could start thinking about it. I know some towns are doing trunk or treat, which just kind of baffles me because I don't understand how that's safer than doing trick or treat door to door because you're gathering in a group, but just getting it out there for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how trick or treat could possibly be safe if you're going literally to people's doors, right? like mask or no mask.
Right.
And then, even if somebody said, oh, well, you could do goodie bags. Well, that's great, but you still have to touch them all. They're still
Right.
prepared in somebody's home when they could have an infection and, right? So I don't see how trick or treat is safe in the traditional sense. I could see it being made safe. Like I could see, maybe a specific group of people, gloved, masked, in a certified kitchen, puts together treat bags with, under supervision and with a plan. And then if they had kids, I know they do like a parade kind of thing. If they had kids actually distance and in like a socially distanced parade and had them go up to a single individual who was handing out goodie bags, who was masked or even in a costume with a mask on underneath, and like that would work.
Right. But, so that was another person I was approached by Flo this afternoon about her parade. I guess she does a parade through the center of town usually. So she was wondering what we were going to do, and I pretty much told her the same. We have to have a little bit of patience right now before we can give any final answers.
Yeah, for sure.
If the state comes out and says no Halloween,
right,
we don't want to be that town that says go for it.
Yeah, no, understood. But yeah, I mean, I could, like I said, there are situations under which I could see it working, but not in the traditional sense.
No.
And yeah, and it would appear, looking online this afternoon, there are different towns having the same conversation. Some have just already just said no, like no to traditional trick-or-treating anyway. We don't have traditional trick-or-treating in this town to begin with. It's only on Main Street. So, if the state allows for structured events that are, socially distanced, I could see it, in some kind of a mechanism like I described, but not in a door-to-door scenario.
Right.
So any other member of the board want to chime in, or?
No, I agree with you. I was looking at the news stuff also, and there are a lot of towns that are just flat out canceling Halloween. You know, any aspect of it. So there is, you know, they have to sit down and really think house to house. I just don't think that's safe.
Mm-mm.
So, and like you say, we really don't have a traditional Halloween here. Not like in the town I came from. I mean, every neighborhood was full of kids, but we don't have that here. We just have the few houses on Main Street. So, what do you think about the parade?
I mean, I think if the state allows for it to be provisioned in such a way that we could enforce social distancing, there's, you know, if you had a family group and our parent with their kids, and then you had, 6 or 10 feet later, a group of people, and you actually ask them to stay distant or give them a rope that has knots on it.
That's what I saw in my head was the preschool rope with everyone holding on to their knot.
That would be kind of cool. Like maybe the kids would like that, you know?
Right. I could see something like that, for a parade. And again, I could also see if they want to hand out treats, having goodie bags, but have them put together somewhere that is a permitted kitchen with people who are masked and gloved. And, you're taking bags of candy.
You're overthinking it.
I'm not. I don't think I am at all. I mean,
I think it's what you're on track there, Kate.
Just put goodie bags together.
Yeah, you go out at the end of the parade.
And at the end of the parade, as everybody, goes to the end, you give them a goodie bag. I think that would work, but I can't see people going door to door.
No.
No door to door. No.
No. I agree with that. But I think the parade idea sounds good. I mean, if we're allowed to by the state.
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of cool.
I haven't heard anything on any of the DPH conferences I've been listening in on. Nobody's brought it up as questions. It may come up in the next week or so, but I haven't heard anything.
We got like a blast email from, I forget what town, to all the boards of health, kind of just asking, and everyone was in the same boat. We were just waiting for DPH's final say. We were kind of hoping that would come up last week because this is going to be a hot topic for a lot of people. But I think the safest thing to do is you trick or treat at your people you've been socially distancing with. I plan on taking my girls to their grandparents and to my sister's house and providing the candy for them and just having them handed out to my kids. But I don't see them traditional trick or treating.
Yep. It's a shame because Halloween falls on Friday the 13th and a full moon this year too.
I know. It's a perfect Halloween. We just need someone to light the candle.
All right. Anything else on that topic?
So I guess we're just going to wait and see.
We're gonna take a wait and see. Yeah, we kind of have to, I believe. But
yeah.
Okay.
Next up on the item, no nursing report. I take it from the.
We haven't had any
cases.
New active cases. But we're sitting steady at 8 cases since the pandemic started.
Next item is failed systems awaiting action. 10 Main Street.
We got that letter out to Tula. They were on their vacation, and she actually got in contact with Ryan because she was confused on the Title V loan. So Ryan was working with her in securing a couple of installers to give her a estimate for the repairs to the system over at 10 Main Street. Our installers are way behind and way over their heads, so she's been working with Ryan, and I haven't gotten anything in yet.
It's what you're.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Kathy.
I'm not saying anything.
Oh, I thought you were all lit up on my end.
Okay. So the next item is passed, failed Title V.
Yeah, so we got 2 Title V's in. Got a conditional pass on 20 Adams. when the system was inspected, they were unable to test the alarms in the D box because the property doesn't have any power currently. So he gave it a conditional pass based on the fact that he can't physically test the system. And when the new owners purchased it and the power is back on, we'll have to finish that up. And then we got a failed Title V on 68 New Westminster. This is the daughter is taking over for the mother, and she's been very proactive in getting things done on it. So she's already contacted me multiple times. She has someone drawing up plans, and those will come before us, and Matt sooner than later.
Okay. Any questions from the board, Kathy or Judy, Colleen?
No.
I reviewed in the office today, and so those two look like they're fine as far as where we're at.
Okey doke. So moving on to permits and items to be voted on, sunflower pastries.
Yeah, so it's a residential kitchen permit application that we got in. She has one currently in the town of Barry, where she's moving from. So she I was kind of looking at all of her stuff. It looks like she specializes in like nut-free and allergy baked goods as well as normal baked goods. But she does have all of her permitting in the other towns, and she provided everything we need here. So I don't think they've closed on their property yet. I'm not 100% sure, but she is coming to town and wants to make sure she's good to go so she can continue filling her orders.
Okey-doke. And
I make a motion. We accept her permit, sign off on it.
okay, I heard about half of that. Kathy, can you repeat?
We should accept the permit and sign it.
And that's something we need a motion for? Question mark.
I think
No.
we need to just approve them, and then
No, we can just,
we'll have to send it over through DocuSign.
And so if that's gonna be approved, when is she gonna be up and running for an inspection, Mallory? I don't think I caught that.
Signatures. I'll just get a timeline from her as to when her kitchen's going to be ready,
Okay,
and we can get that scheduled for you.
thanks. And if we're good on that, we're gonna move on to open repairs and plans and review. There's a long list. Look at those.
Yeah. So pretty much all of them have been the same. I haven't heard anything on 7 Moosehorn. Kathy, have you?
no.
No.
I just have to do a completion on that one.
Yeah.
We completed 87 Hale today. Now doing, I reviewed the plans in the office. 97 Ragged Hill is done.
Have you been contacted by Luke Roddy to do that parcel owned by the Archbishop?
Yeah, those two look like they're fine as far as fast. That is scheduled for next Tuesday, the 29th.
Okay. I don't think we've had any other new ones come in since then, just that one.
Okay, anything more on the open plans and review? They're all in stasis.
Right, they're all just waiting.
Okey-doke. All right, perks.
So pretty much the same. So the one I just spoke about was a perk that came through, and it was applied for. We weren't sure if the parcel was going to be buildable or not.
I make a motion, we accept her.
So we had an application for Bemis Road from the Archbishop. It's not a buildable lot. Well, we're not sure yet, but they're going to go out and perk it next Tuesday, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Kathy, I don't know if you're trying to talk or if when you talk, part of what you're saying is getting cut off and then it's getting repeated randomly later by the computer, because that's what it sounds like.
I'm not actually trying to talk.
Because did everybody else hear like in the
totally
middle of
heard it, yeah.
Okay. Something's
I
up.
love technology.
The comment I have on, we should accept the permit and sign it.
Oh yeah, that's what's happening.
The perk is 17 North Comet Pond was done. That was done and it had passed.
Okay.
All right. Are there any other perks that we have to discuss, or are they all just stasis as listed?
I think they're good as listed.
All right. Open complaints.
So 248 Gardner Road, I had 2 of our fire department members come into the office to advise that they have been called out multiple times to this residence in regards to the piles of trash and burning of furniture. They frequently have to do drive-bys and advise and put fires out there. So they brought it to our attention. I forwarded the pictures and the complaint over. Kathy drove by today and took some photos and filled out a complaint form. So I drafted a letter. Judy made a good point to me that the actual burning of the trash is the fire department's realm. So what I'm going to do is I can take that out of the letter that I wrote and just kind of reword it, because we only deal with indoor burning, not outdoor burning. So I'll have to take that out. Judy's not 100% sure. She thinks maybe that Craig is not occupying. It might be a tenant inside. So that's going to be something we'll have to figure out when
And
as well.
Right,
So
yeah,
when we send a letter, it will go certified to Craig. That's the address we have at the tax office for him.
But that's not what's listed as his resident.
Yeah, in the street.
He's always lived on Halfrey Road. And my concern about all this is that this house has a history. This house has changed hands multiple times, and you know, it's a house that you want to make sure that everything's accurate, because I don't know who's living there. I'm not sure that Craig is living there. I think he's renting it out. Because we know him, and the last time I spoke to him, which was a while back, but he was talking to me from his house on Halford Street. So so I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered before we start walking around on that property and talking to them. And the other thing too is we probably, you know, it's always nice and kind to, you know, have some resources available to them, like a list of, you know, these are folks that will provide a dumpster at this cost and stuff like that. It's always just nice to be able to hand resources to them, so they don't feel like they're just being, you know, complained at, you know, that you're trying to work with them. Just my 2 cents.
so my drive-by and then photographs just demonstrate that there's brush close to the house, and other buildings there's trash in multiple locations. We should accept, and that's all that I put in the inspection report. Direct a little of the conversation in the letter towards that. So if you will rework that letter, Mallory, and then also, like you said, places that can provide the service they need to get cleaned up.
Okay. So I guess my problem with that is that we have the permitted haulers in town to take away and do the dumpsters. So it would just be the 3 that we have listed that we would be able to provide for him. Because if they're not permitted for doing dumpsters through the town, then we shouldn't be advertising.
That's fine.
And it has
Okay.
passed.
Right.
Correct.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I just want to make sure we're clear on that. And then I understand that there might be a tenant. So but our letter should still go to Craig as the owner. Because ultimately he's still, where it's only a one person, it's still his property. So it's gonna fall back on the owner. And then if it ends up in court, there may be repercussions for the tenant.
Yeah, but you won't want the letter going to the tenant and never getting to Craig. So
Craig.
that's why I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
double check.
So I'll rework that and I'll get a list of all of our haulers and their contact information put together.
Great. Anything else on the letter? Okay. Moving on to new business. Title V loan request.
Yes, that is.
All right, so we had a failed Title V at 19 Mount Jefferson. It was the older one. And the homeowner has decided to go through the state-funded program that we have for town for Title V repair and installation loans. So currently in our account, we have over $150,000 that can be utilized for residents to utilize. We currently only have one active Title V loan, so the program hasn't been utilized in quite some time. And what she did is she filled out the application. She has the 3 estimates. She submitted them over, all 3 of them, and she's looking to borrow $25,000 to do the full repair. I'm just trying to pull that open right now on my end. So we just have to make a vote on it, and then what happens is if we vote on it, then it has to be given to the tax collector and the assessors, and they will work in putting the lien on getting the payment set up. So it's a 20-year loan, and it will come right through with her taxes. And if she ever sells the property or anything like that, the loan will have to be paid off first. It doesn't go with the property.
The septic plans have been approved and reviewed.
They're in review, so they haven't been approved yet.
I suggest we table this until they're approved, and
Sure.
then we'll vote to do it. I think 25,000 is fine.
Okay.
The only comment I have.
All right, Kathy, anything else on that?
No, I'd like to go back to open complaint, if that's okay. 111 Gardner Road was sent a trash complaint, as so if you will read well, previously by Mallory, a letter with no response. Today I did a drive-by exterior inspection and took photographs. They're the one on Gardner Road that has the old couches in the middle of the lawn, an unlicensed truck full of trash, etc. And I have asked Mallory to compose. That was done, and like somewhat similar to the other property on Gardner Road, in regards to getting the trash cleaned up. And we'll just keep working on those letters and then get them sent out.
Kathy, did you
That's,
say that you stopped and
yes, I stopped at 111 Gardner Road, took photographs, and wrote up an house inspection report regarding the exterior only. I did not step on to the property.
okay, all right.
Okay. Anything else on that?
No, just wanted to make everyone aware.
And on the new business that we were just about to close on, the Title V, we're tabling that for the next meeting.
Okay.
And then old business, we're moving into what, foods inspections is the
Yep.
next. So I had one scheduled for Friday with Tina Dixon. She had to reschedule with me. So I just scheduled with Rieta, which was nice. Not Rieta, Broad and Gun, which is good. I am available this Thursday and Friday, or Thursday afternoon and Friday afternoon, Kathy. I don't know if you have any availability for the school inspection on either of those days. But that's one I'd like to do at the second. And otherwise, I've called the other two places and not connected with them, the other two on the list. I don't have the list in front of me. But I'm working through the list and getting them scheduled as I have a whole slew of time off that I need to take for work. So I'm taking long weekends and sneaking in inspections on Fridays and Thursdays.
I can't do the school this week. I can probably do it next week.
Okay.
On next Thursday.
In the afternoon, that would work. I don't know if they're available after a certain time or, what time they're available until.
We have to do it as close to the noon hour as possible.
Okay, let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Okay. And otherwise, the only other food inspection business that happened was on Saturday, and there were no actual inspections required per se because we had nobody who hadn't been previously inspected, or if they hadn't been, they were actually using a registered kitchen. And I just walked through with them what the expectations were. They already had printouts from Katie, which was really good. And everybody was following all of the guidelines and everything looked great. Everybody was very cooperative. I walked through the fair for just because, and everybody seemed to be cooperating there as well.
I hadn't gotten any complaints on that.
Nope. All right. So the recycle center, we have Bella's report to review that was sent out as an attachment.
Okay. Downstairs. So yeah, all we have is the report from her on her collections. So she has one weekend left in October. And then the money she took in, she had another good week. And then we have the generator that was purchased, and they got that all set up. I haven't gotten anything else on Bella in regards to that. I know the electrician is supposed to get out. And then we got a bill for the fire extinguisher down there.
Okay.
Septic plans have been approved and reviewed. So I had to go over the approved budget for the generator because I had to go with a different brand. And I also bought a chain and a lock for the generator so it will not disappear. So I'm asking the board to approve I suggest was that I can provide a slip. I can't currently see that, but it was around $712 and some cents to buy the appropriate generator and chain and lock for
It was
the recycling center.
715.55.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So is it 715.55 the total for all the expenditures that you're looking to have approved, Kathy?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we accept or pay the invoice for the 715.55 as presented.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right. And we're going to take a vote on the motion on the floor. Kathy?
I have to abstain.
Oh, because you did the purchase?
Correct.
Judy?
Yep, I'm fine.
Colleen?
Yes.
And Kate is a yes. So the motion passes. There is a note in Bella's report that stating that she feels they need a mattress shed.
Yeah.
What does the board think about that? What do we want to do with that?
I think we had a conversation a few weeks ago about if mattresses were even worth us collecting, or if we had to take a look at how much we took in versus how much we put out paying for them. So I was just wondering if Bella could put together like a little blurb on that for us to see if it's even viable for us to keep collecting the mattresses. I know it's hard to get rid of them, but it sounds like it might have been putting us into a hole a little bit for the cost to get rid of them.
I agree. I had just recently had a twin, I have a set of bunk beds for the grandchildren, and I had one of the mattresses removed, and it cost me $50.
Oof. Yeah, it's not cheap.
Nope.
Yes, I agree too that we should have Bella give us how much is costing to recycle them before a shed is built.
Another worry with the shed is that they can just pile up and then they'll get wet and gross and heavy. So.
Currently, they're sitting outside on the dirt.
Gross. Okay, so even wetter and heavier and grosser.
Yeah, and I think because there are several, we might want to find out about how quickly they're being turned over so they're not sitting and gaining more and more moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we should have her contact whomever it is that takes them and find out how much it's going to cost to take them, and then we'll know what we should do from this point on.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. We just had a bit of a verbal throwback from 5 minutes ago. So weird. Okay. So I've seen a lot of things in virtual meetings. This is a new one for me.
Yeah, I haven't seen this yet either.
And, you know, the other thing to think about as we kind of consider this whole mattress thing and the cost is that there is a trailer there that is the free store that is basically a hoard that people don't necessarily take things from. So it may be time that we maybe go through the free store and get rid of a whole bunch of things, because I'm sure I don't even know that you're able to walk in there. So it's not a very useful free store if people can't get to it to pull things out. So maybe there's an opportunity to make room in one of the existing spaces. All right, moving on to any other questions on the recycle center or Belly's report? All right. 36 Gardner Road site plan.
So we had reviewed this a few weeks back. This was the site where the storage units are looking to go. They weren't looking to put any septic or any well, just having the units. And we wrote a letter of concern to the planning board, and the engineer and our peer engineer, the applicant's engineer, have been going back and forth with the zoning enforcement officer, and working out new plans,
Those letters and then
and trying to come up with new ideas and just work the bugs out. So Ben had requested that whatever comes of all of the peer engineer and our engineers reviews and workings, we still get a 20-day period to review. And the planning board did assure us that we are going to get that 20-day planning, 20 days to review the new plans. So I just stuck it on the agenda in case we had it by now, but we don't. So their hearing is still pending, and it will be pending until everyone's reviews have been heard.
I'd like to go back to post inspection.
What was that, Kathy?
I was going to say that keeping this item on the agenda every week, every meeting, will be a good thing until we know when. That's okay. 111 Gardner and the plans are regarding the exterior.
Okay, Mallory, did you get that?
Yeah, we'll keep it on the agenda until completion.
Okay. But the last item is budget spreadsheet before we move into unexpected.
Yeah, so I sent over everything that's been turned over so far since our last meeting. And some of it went into the septic and some of it went to the general fund, but it's everything we've gotten.
That was probably one thing I don't think I had a chance to review. Does anybody else have questions on the budget turnovers?
No.
I can't see it. Kate, can you share it?
I'm just scanning through it. Sorry. It's one thing I didn't have a chance to look at.
Mallory, will you resend that section and took photographs to my email tomorrow?
Of the budget spreadsheet?
Yes, I don't have it.
Sure.
Okay. Any more conversation on the budget spreadsheet? We don't need a motion on that. Everything's done.
Yeah,
right?
it's already done.
Thought so. And unexpected subjects. I actually have one.
Yay.
I went to Rieta this weekend with a friend of mine, and people were mostly good about, masking. Social distancing was a little iffy some places. In some areas, people were kind of just like wandering in some cases. But there were definitely people making a concerted effort to stay distant. The vendors were distant. The patrons, it depends. There was one vendor who was not wearing a mask, who was arguing with another patron who was wearing a mask about wearing a mask.
Oh,
And he was just about like thumping his chest, and I was not going to get in the middle of a confrontation with, a vendor. I couldn't find one of the managers at the moment. I was going to just check in on the way out and ask them to walk over and maybe say something to the gentleman, but I couldn't find either of them around. So I figured I'd bring it up. And just, Mallory, if you could shoot them an email, let them
sure.
know.
You don't have any idea
who it was. I can describe him and where he was, and I'm sure they'll know.
Selling? Was he selling something specific, or?
I don't know. I mean, does anybody sell anything specific there? It's like, Just
Well, some
stuff.
people like come with like just records or.
No, I don't know. I don't know what he was selling because
Okay.
I, tried to steer clear of the crazy yelling man.
Yeah.
But he was like in the far. If you're standing at the concession stand, and you're looking out at the field.
Yeah.
He was almost all the way towards the back. Like if you walk in through the gate and you go out and around to the right, he was like to the end of the right side towards the back. But he had like a beard. He was an older guy with a van, and they just need to. He was clearly adamant that he wasn't wearing a mask, and it's a Democratic hoax, and it's not real, and it's not going to make a difference, and we're all crazy. So clearly people like that. I'm saying he's probably going to stand out. They'll know who he is. So
absolutely.
They need to ensure their vendors are wearing masks. There were a couple of patrons, not a lot. There was, I think one woman I saw who clearly had a medical issue. She was carrying like a mini oxygen tank. Wouldn't expect her to be wearing a mask, but there were probably one or two other patrons. They all fit the same demographic, which is like, younger males who feel that they don't have to. But, so they should be spot checking more, I think. And just if they have questions, they can call me. And I think it's just a conversation, really. But
yeah.
And the other thing I would note to the board is just in general, there are a few people who I've seen consistently, and I don't leave the house much. So I think it's something we might want to address. When I've been to the center of town for whatever reason, whether it's to run to one of the stores to get something really quick or whatever, there are a couple people, and the only reason I recognize them at this point is because they stick out because they are not wearing masks consistently. And I know that I've now seen their vehicles and seen them enter and exit them at like Mr. Mike's or whatever. So, I think for those folks, it needs to be addressed because they're clearly just bucking the system to buck the system, and they're not, they're not wanting to be educated. And they're belligerent about it because when people say, could you please cover your mouth? And they say, I don't have a mask and I'm not wearing one to the store owner. And the store owner says, you're going to have to cover your mouth with your t-shirt or leave, which was the appropriate response. It's kind of a problem. So I just think that while I know we wanted to take an educational stance, I think that people need to be vigilant. We are going to see more spikes as flu season kicks up. And having people who think that it's a political issue and not a health issue is a problem.
If you could describe those folks to the police department and where you saw them, Kate, perhaps they can offer the masks and perhaps a uniform on the police would encourage them to.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm sure I'll see them again.
I think we can try that.
Yep.
Appropriate.
Yeah, I can also just, the next time I see the individual, there's two, but these two folks I've seen in the same vehicles over and over. And, like I said, if I go to town once or twice a week and I'm running into them, they're just, and it's habitual. So I'll make a note of their license and just call the police chief and ask him to stop by.
I think that's the solution at this point because they did say months ago that yes, they would help support wearing masks in town, and I think we need to ask them to help us this time.
Very good. Any other unexpected subjects, items that people need to discuss?
Mallory, did you contact the noon hours possible a flu clinic for the public in our town?
Yeah, so I did give a call into our emails. I haven't heard back about dates yet. But so as of right now, the only two that we have one scheduled for employees, and then we have one scheduled for the seniors. but I'm guessing they're a little inundated. So I did follow up again today. And I know she only works part-time hours at Walgreens. So I did ask for a return call to see if we could get something scheduled for everyone in town.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Any other-
went, I called, because Peterson was looking to set up a clinics for the children in their school system, in their school. And so I've been doing a little bit of exploring as to what needs to be done and how to do it and all that other stuff. I'm assuming that somebody is already tied in with the MIS system, probably Mallory. But anyway, so I did a little exploring, and I know that recently DPH has now expanded and said that now pharmacists can provide flu vaccine, the shot at, and I understand that's pretty much what the pharmacists will only do is give shots out. And they, to children now 6 and up, I think. So anyway, just keep in mind that the MRC has experience doing flu clinics, especially working with children. So if you do go with the town and you get everything set up, and decide to have a town-wide, you know, we're willing to jump in. But like I said, I've been working with the Rutland clinic for years, and I used to run the clinic here in Hubbardston, and for years, and you know, now I'm helping Peterson. So yeah, I'm just saying I'm available if you want to pursue it or have questions. I can try and track down the answer for you.
Perfect. Who's doing the clinic over, and do you have a pharmacy that's supplying the vaccines, or?
In Rutland, the pharmacy does the adults, the MRC does the kids.
Just the kids, okay.
And we go all the way down to like 3, and actually we've even gone down as low as 2. Those are kids that are like 2.5.
Okay.
So we've gone down there. We pretty much, we just to be on the safe side, we've pretty much said, you know, kids under 2.5 should go see their pediatrician, unless there's a request from the pediatrician. And we did have that once where we had a request from the pediatrician.
Are you doing it at the school?
We do it at the school.
Are you doing it during school hours, or are you doing it?
In Rutland, it's Saturday, the November 7th.
Okay.
And Peterson, we haven't set a date.
Okay. I think school age is definitely important with the mandate. If we can do anything to take some of the burden off the parents, who I'm sure are already fried as it is, speaking from experience, that would be great.
Very good. What are the next steps on that then?
Well, I've reached out to Walgreens, but if Judy can help me, then I would be happy to work with Judy as well to do a townwide or just even school age. I don't know if the school has any plans or anything in the works, so I guess I can reach out to the administration over there as well, see if there's anything in there that they're working on.
Cool. Does anyone else have any questions on that? Cool. Good stuff. So with no more unexpected subjects, and I'm going to do a last call on unexpected subjects because I tend to close these meetings and they get reopened. I'm going to make a motion to close the meeting at 7:37 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Judy and Colleen?
Aye.
Judy's on mute.
Yep.